bede na yo ya. Nanke bede. We nanke bede ya. Nanke bede na yo ya. Usuna mi yo. Usuna mi ya. Nanke bede na yo ya. When you bring one crown on me don't know more. Oh, can of crown on me don't know more. Nanke bede na yo ya. We. Yeah. No one a menya Sambe ya na me wanwa Yontia sienko yo Nanke bede na yo ya If you see me one empa depa Oba pa say di one de benya You won't fence wo buadio Me see mintini wija yo Adia me penso na mi po Minti mi nya wa kwa Jordan Mi yuwe ya na mi wane wo Ubi abayu abana be Missing girl we ana me wano Nyontia siepa wonkonko we Nanke bede na yo ya Usu kurana me dono mo Temo sika nka mesida ya chenwo Minya sika metonto mabama nwa We nantia sietwa ye mwe Nanke bede na yo ya Necha na me dono Obagi ya nwo pedie Isuba mpenti na mi wane Nanke bede na yo ya Uka ye de wase mudia na me dono mo Uka no kurano na me dono mo Nanke bede na yo ya We Beme na suoni mi bewa Men so matia kanusuo Yesi mu obidon yo bidon tiro Onwana me se me dono amuma me no way Nanke bede na yo ya Usu kurana me dono mo Obido bio binti asia Misi be mabuya na mi ba Weni binti na yende Adon enim sika Bicheme chansi ya muma na sumonyono Uma na sunjuna no amane wosu atonu Nefa ne nyatwa pian tran ubie Enyira no pewiane enyumiro Na die ndesi oni mi bewa Bo mismiri ni bewa Nanke bede na yo ya Owo anyi ne champo wana me dono Eti no bia beka bi ya minti yo Ayon boy ya bana be Oni ye wona mamia Missy me na mi dendo Na won so si mi ni nyai The ring nyai nam ko wi ya ba be ya ba Nanke bede na yo ya Nanke bede na yo ya Uka ye de wase mo wana me dono mo Uka no korano na me dono mo Nanke bede na yo ya Yeah Hey Oh Hey Oh Hey Oh Hey Nana mejuma mi ye yo nyami amawai Minyu mtwe mensi ya nebebia achede na le nyami di cheni yo Tuta mi wa wuta mi ko Utu mi tuya wo sen wakora bo wai Ebi se do nyami eshura no na wochura no wai Otamfu ntimi say no Em say ye wo baby ro Eko bi nkuana nka mewu Eko bi nkuana nka masei Nanke bede na yo ya Usukura mia na mi kro Na mi kana gensega Na somaro kuti anye ni ajiyo So na no mi ya wobi do mi wai Nanke bede na yo ya me say na nenya me so mpe wadwen poninti wo shireshra me amara ko ho afene wu mi ana wiyem them say ye wo bebero utimi diana yam yo show them say ye wo bebera them say ye wo bebero o them say ye wo bebera nanke bende na yoya uchu mukrana na nekro amamponsa wahinia ampa mi broni na mi friend wa Charlie pia wo fedia kumasi crow from now oyonko pa Mike hamburger bontino wa asante hinkro no 3 Mike sinke bede na yoya ye nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yoya ye nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yoya usunami ya nanke bede na yoya when you bring mukrano na me don mo o kana korano na me don mo nanke bede na yoya ye nanke bede nanke bede ya nanke bede na yoya nanke bede ye nanke bede ya nanke bede na yoya
Fé to the land of my father's birth, written by our own brother, commonly called Professor NNK, who happens to be Nvasekie N. Konne. On this day, the 23rd of February 2013. As I said, we really try to beat the traditional Liberian system. That is, when we say 2 o'clock, we mean 2 o'clock, but because of some technical issues beyond our control, we were forced to start at this point. Having said that, that is with the activity that we got on our agenda. First on our list is arrival of guests. As we all know, ever since 2 o'clock today, people have been pouring in here. Some have come, got their copy because of their pressing issues in terms of job and other, pressing matter. They have to leave. So, but notwithstanding, the presence of those that are here and those that have come to go and those that have intended to have come but could not make it, only be due to some circumstances beyond their control, is highly appreciated. So I want you to join me in giving every one of us a round of applause. Having said that, we go to item number 2 on our agenda, which is the invoking of the presence of the Almighty in our presence. And that's going to be done by our dear brother, the young Imam. I don't know whether I'm going to be right to say it that way. Sheikh Mohammed Konne. You pay fine for calling me young Imam. You know, I'm a king. I can say that. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, I would like to start with the verses of the Holy Quran that mention about the pen. The occasion we're here for today is about writing. And Allah mentioned in the Holy Quran, Nun wal qalam wa ma yasturun. Allah swear by the pen. Whatever we write in, be it with a pen, pencil, keyboard, is pen. So scholars mention that we have 3 types of pens. There is the first thing Allah created is pen, according to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he ordered the pen to write, and the pen been writing. As a matter of fact, the first pen he created, he asked the pen to write whatever going to be in the future to come. Whatever we're doing right now, the pen started writing. That's the first pen that Allah created. And there's another pen with angels. They will write whatever we're doing, be it good or bad. That's the second pen. The third pen, that's what we have with us today. Somebody publishing book, somebody writing newspaper, or whatever you're writing, jotting down your information is considered to be pen. So publishing book or talking, writing anything is an honorary position that we all should pray and we should emulate the good example of the brother. May Allah make this a blessing, something for the brother. Arab poet, he mentioned that while people are proud of sword, they're taking weapon and in order to be a king or to do whatever, he said that the people that have the pen, their own is more mighty or more powerful more than the weapon. You can fight war with pen instead of fighting war with arm and ammunition. Because while the other people are fighting, taking guns to kill people, trust me, you can defend your people with pen. That's what this young man been doing. I mean, during the outbreak of the Liberian Civil War, he's one of the people that initiated defending our people with the pen. So, having said all that, I don't want to prolong this too much. I would like everybody to rise up So we can recite the beginning, the first verses of the Holy Quran together. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Whatever effort we make it do here, may Allah accept it for us. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Mandingo tradition is so strong and so unique that every time you dream of it, you always want to write like tons of books. But I mean, it's important that we are really following our cultural practice, most especially in America. Having said that, before we go on to the next item, I just want to recognize our brother, father, uncle, Mr. Asumana Kroma, who decided who election of being a part of this program is so, rewarding for us, because in my view, this is a history-making process. I am not sure if we have had any of our Mandingo brothers that have publicly written a book about Liberia, our struggle in Liberia, elsewhere. Maybe it has happened, but this is my first, account. I also want to appreciate our sisters who took up their busy schedule to let go the issue. But some this time have chosen that, look, Jensen is now about it, and council, the intellectual aspect is also in part. So I want to appreciate you for being here. I'm very much happy for that. I want to recognize Mr. Nvasekie N, who is serving as a special representative from Minnesota, coming from MMA to represent the MMA here. Honorable Mohammed Beletin is here also with us, so I want to recognize your presence, sir. Honorable Konne, he's the board chair of FEMUSA. He's also here from New York. Famo is one of the persons who is a community-based person. Every program, every activity that you are involved in, he's always there no matter what. And this is something that we are very much proud of. Honorable Prince P from New York also said that he heard about this launching of the program.
Prince and I were in the Navy, U.S. Navy. We met on the ship. We didn't know about each other before. Our first introduction to each other was on the Navy ship. And since then, we kept our relationship. There are certain people I call my top dog. I got 3 people that carry that title. Katie is one of them. And that's one of my brothers to me.
All right, so I think we've seen the we appreciate your presence. I want to go to our fathers. I think you are the bedrock of our. I might not be able to call every one of you by name, but this goes to all our fathers. We appreciate your support. With you, as our guardian, we will never go wrong. So we appreciate that the tradition is staying in place. So we're going to make sure that we keep that going. We recognize our brother, Honorable Sekou Sherif, for anything. And he said his presence with his wife is going to make sure that they are here to go camping. Mr. Sherif, we appreciate you and your wife for coming to support this program. Thank you. We got our Jaleba sitting right there. She has been one of the supporters of the Mandingo community. Yeah, Mr. Jalaba, if people are familiar with the Jalaba, she's one of the supporters. She lives all the way in the east, so she decided that she could not miss this occasion for anything. So she patronized this program by purchasing 2 copies of the book. So you are most welcome. So we now move on to the welcoming remark. If you see on your...
All of you that came from far and near, we want to welcome all of you to our book launching today. Nvasekie happens to be my uncle. And I'm really, really ecstatic that he wrote this book. This is his second book. I bought the first one, and this second one I just bought one. And I will also encourage every one of us that is here today to at least buy one. If you can buy 10, just buy one to make sure you go. If you can buy 10, that will be fine. You can go and give it to other people who will read it, and they will get to know about us. And I can tell you one thing, there will be something in this book that interests every one of you that is here. Honestly, because I just went through the book, read something about the Bakedu massacre. To be honest with you, I was really, really emotional when I was reading that particular part of the Bakedu massacre. So that I can show you that there will be something you love by this book. So again, I welcome all of you. I don't have to say much. Welcome you, welcome, and I hope you enjoy your stay here. And please listen to all the speakers that are going to be here. Thank you very much.
This president always try to emulate the example of Obama when they come. They want to give, long speeches, but this man don't take that route. We appreciate that, President. Thank you so much. Before we move on to the next item, I want to continue with the special recognition. I want to go to our dear brother, Abdullah Kosha, who is the Vice President of Operations. Mr. Sekou Konne. I'm sorry, I might not be saying your title right at the port, so please forgive me. Given the connection within the Mandingo community, when you go wrong, I don't care your age whatsoever, the switch is always there. So, honorable, appreciative of the fact that you are here. Thank you. Mr. President of the Caucus. Oh, yeah, okay. I think he's the current president of the Mandingo Caucus of the Caucus of Liberia. So I want to thank him by the phone. Yeah. Just welcome. Yeah, and thanks for your numerous support and contribution to this community. All right, now we move on to. I also want to recognize a special brother here, Brother Joseph Sako, active participant. When I say vigorously active, he's one of the persons. Anytime you call him, he's very serviceable. Just give you a call, he will return your call if he's not allowed to, pick up the phone at the time. So, Mr. Sako, the community recognizes your presence and your hard work. The medical mission that is about to take off for Liberia is the architect, the brain behind the entire thing. He has made sure that the containers are loaded. I understand that we took one container and this time it's going to be 2 containers. So bravo to you and the entire Formosa leadership. Thank you so much. From Farouk Konne, we also want to recognize you and your beautiful wife here today. Thank you for being here. Francis Duana is my nephew. One's my brother, so I'm going to leave it between you to sort it out.
I'll take care of the puppy. I'll take care of the puppy.
So today is our own brother, the old man Sekou Konne. If you are on, I will read top story about him. Mr. Konne will recognize your presence and thank you so much for being here. All right, so Otto's wife. I think before our brother got to the stage he is today, it was through the support of Almighty God first, but the second person that really pushed him was his beautiful wife, Madam Mariam Sharif Konne.
Mariam Sharif.
We want to say thank you very much for your emotional, moral, and committed support to your husband. We really, really appreciate that. We also want to recognize who is Fatoumata Sharif. And I see why Nvasekie always smiling every day.
You got a beautiful lady.
You know what you Mohammed Sharif. So Madam Sharif, Mr. Sharif will recognize you. Thank you so much. All right. Now move on to the next agenda. That is the introduction of the occasion. I think you all heard Nvasekie say he got 3 persons they call, I know, my mean dog. Now one of the mean dog coming here to come tell us, about this occasion. So, without much ado, I want to call on stage our dear brother, Mr. Kalifala Donzo.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Nothing much to say. All has been said, especially the reason why we're here for. The sole purpose of all being here today is to the introduction and the launching of Nvasekie book called the Birth of My Fathers, the Land of My Father's Birth. Sorry. And I know before you come here and figure out why you're here for, you already know why you're already here for. So pretty much the program today is all about Nvasekie book launching. And during the course of the program, we have a series of items we're going to go through, and one of which happened to be the arrival of the guests, the opening prayer, welcome remarks, introduction of the occasion, poetry reading by one of our dear sisters, and recognition of guests, book overview, introduction of the chief patron, official launching of the book, remarks, announcement, vote of thanks, closing prayer. So pretty much that's the sole purpose of our being here today. And I just want to add today, thank you very much for taking up your time to be here. And I don't know how much to say. You know, the little thing I can add on to what everybody been saying, you know, looking back in Nvasekie history, if you think about it, the kind of struggle this young man has stood up for our community, if you think about it, you know, you always want to be there for Nvasekie. You know, organize your program. I bet you organize your program, you call Nvasekie, you probably will see 3%, and Nvasekie will be one of the 3% added to whatever number will be there. He's always going to be there. And when I had the opportunity of being to introduce this occasion, and I want to inject that little portion into the introduction. However, I was really moved with one story about Nvasekie, and I want to share with the crowd here. This all happened to be the first book Nvasekie wrote. They say going to war for America. And the title looked vague, like somebody is fighting for America and so on and so forth. And I have 5 kids with me, my children after school, and I go over their homework every evening. I try to read with my kids every day. So I told my daughter to go on the bookshare and get one of the books so we can read. And this little girl went up there. She took one of the books, Nvasekie's first book. All she remembered was the Liberian flag and the American flag. But nothing else she could do, because I told her, go get a book so we can read. But when the little girl brought the book, and I told her, so can you tell me who wrote this book? You know, Nvasekie needs to start with N. If somebody don't tell you Nvasekie, you'll find it real hard to pronounce it. So the little girl couldn't pronounce the name. All she could pronounce was Konne. So I related to her, I said, Nvasekie Konne. By the time I came out to say Nvasekie Konne, she knew, she pictured Nvasekie, she had been with Nvasekie. So I flipped the book on the side, and she saw Nvasekie picture. She was really touched with her, and she said, Daddy, can I read the book? And that became a real motivation that my daughter wanted to read the book, and she was waiting for the second book. She came today. She said, Daddy, what can I do to help Nvasekie to sell the book? So I said, stand to the door over there. When people come, you give them the flyer. So that's why you see her today. She was doing all those things. And I really want to say, Nvasekie, your story is very touching, and thank you very much for your book. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Your intro. You know, I don't care what you do. I'm a man. We always have each other back. That's the reason why you are here. I want to recognize, before we go on to the next item on the agenda, I want to recognize the nephew of Tiawuron Gonglo. His father could not be here, so he decided that since his uncle could not be here, he got to make sure that he's here. And Mr. Beko Menton, we appreciate your presence. Thank you. And thank you so much for being here. I also want to recognize Nvasekie Keita. He's the board chairman of Millennium Men of Liberia. Mr. Keita, we really appreciate your presence of being here today. Mr. Abraham Toure, thank you so much. And by the way, Mr. Mohamed Keita is one of the chief patron of this, programming. So we want to also say thank you for accepting that position and being able to discharge that tax. Thanks so much. Oh, the public relations officer of FEMUSA, the man, when you write one story, one sentence, a song on a vocabulary, you got to read that. Yeah, every day, before you can read it, you got to have a dictionary by you. And he got a longer name. I don't know Nigeria he come from, where? Mr. Abubakar Siliki Soko Sako Jr. Who is very much influential when it comes to religious debate, both on the internet and on the radio. Some of us that have been following, he has really been engaging people, teaching and preaching the word of God. So, Kosha, we recognize your effort. Thank you so much.
You're already in trouble.
Both Kwadu Boni and Lima. But please do a capacity, but getting it one time. We're doing the poetry. It's not here yet, so we're going to be skipping that to go to recognition of guests, which I've already started. So I think I just want to re-emphasize the importance of those of you that have come, most especially from Mr. Kroma from Liberia. I wanted to be a part of this program. This is something we really get it on. Mr. Kroma is not only the religious leader. I don't want to be in trouble. I want to recognize Jala, our brother Jala Konne. This is the band that is behind this, the engine behind this program. He made it a success. Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. He spread the news and the message just went wide. This is why today the space is so limited. We did not really expect the turnout, but Brother Konne, we are very much appreciative. Sebu Konne, we also recognize you, sir. Thank you so much for coming. It's appreciated. Honorable Philip Kroma, you say Jack came from Liberia.
Well, who said?
The Kamara and the Kroma, you came to me. So thank you so much for being here. I couldn't miss you for anything, man. Thank you. I was just clean quality. Thank you. I know it will not work. Thank you. So I recognize you. Thank you so much. For the president, now, always in our midst. Every time we call him, he's always available. Mr. Dore, I appreciate your presence here today. And thank you for coming. The beautiful wife of, I thought I was Oliver's wife. Sorry. Mr. Mohammed Sharif, all of this is recognized. Trust me. You have engaged the community, by speaking out the truth. And this is what we need, at Mandingo. People need to know who we are, what we stand for. And this is the man that will never preach it. That is something that we really admire you. So please continue your hard work. The person that just walked in is Konne, as we all know. Was the first president of the Federation of the Liberian Mandingo Association, FEMUSA. Mr. Konne has been in a vanguard of preaching, the advocacy role in our community, most especially so when it comes to the issue of our people's property in Nimba County. He has stood firm, he has never relented, and he's continued to engage the people in a peaceful tone. This is something that I really appreciate. I have been following his writing, and every time I read, I just feel more relaxed. I don't even have to go into anything about writing. So, you'll always be president. Thank you so much, and you are welcome. This country started hosting people here. Both Ijabate went to, he did not stop there. He said, you know what, this country, the best thing you can do is educate yourself. He went and did a good job. Go to Temple University. If you go to Temple, you'll see the placard. It's right on the wall. Both Ijabate. Yeah, and then now, he's handling his own business, helping our people out. This is something that you rarely find in our community. So, Honorable Jabate, we recognize you and thank you so much for making it here today. I know somebody told me in secret that you said you want to buy 50 copies of the books. Thank you so much. The board chair of Lima is just walking. Somebody told me, you're supposed to be buying 50 copies of the book for the Lima community. Those of our family you're not there. So thank you so much for being here. So now we Honorable Musa.
He's supposed to show it to yourself. Turn the camera around.
I'll do that editing.
Honorable Musa Sherry is our brilliant cameraman. This man is very effective. Every time you call him, he's here. Can you imagine? The man lives as far as LTA, the place they call Atlanta. Mr. Sherry, we welcome you and thank you so much. Musa, you selling book. I've not forgotten you. Trust me. Please. Musa, yeah. All right. So we now move on to the.
Say a few things here. You know, when you write a book, one important page in the book is called acknowledgement, and that is usually reserved for people that have really stood behind you. And some of those people here, I know you're going to read about them, but I just want to make some official recognition of their presence. See, Brother Keita here, he's been one of my strongest supporters. Has always been there. I've never called upon Brother Keita for anything that he has turned me down. And if you see his name in my acknowledgement page, that's what it's for. Because sometimes it's good to say good things about people in the presence of other people. He's one of those people that has always been there for me. All right? And, you know, I don't have to tell you about my relationship with Brother Richmond. Brother Richmond is one of my old teachers. You know how dear teacher are to your heart, right? And he's a brother that has always been behind me. You know, we've been supporting each other, and you're going to see his name in the acknowledgement. And besides that, if you read some story about my experience in Sackley Bay, you're going to come across his name. You know, and my nephew right here, Musa Sharif, he's a great guy. You know, we're planning to go to Atlanta to have a program there. So I didn't want my nephew to come here. I didn't want him to buy a plane ticket to come here. So I did not tell him. So surprisingly to me, he just called me yesterday from the airport. Uncle, you did not inform me, but I'm here. You know, it's like, that got to be a strong support. And unfortunately, you know, our friend Musa Belete is not here right now. But, you know, for someone to fly from Liberia just to come for this program alone, he got no official business here just for this program. He flew from Liberia yesterday evening. He missed the first flight. You know, Musa is a very... For all of you that know Musa in Morovia, people will say that it is easier to see Ellen Johnson Sirleaf than to see Musa. He's the LFA president. He's the proprietor of RCN, which owns Real TV and Truth FM. He's also the president of Streamers Incorporated, which is a petroleum import, one of the giant petroleum importing companies in Liberia. So he is extremely busy, but for that man to find time out of a busy schedule to be here, you know, and unfortunately he can't be here right now. He and I have been texting the whole day. He got in New York today about 2:30. And he said, Nvasekie, I want to make it about 4:30 in Philadelphia. But you know, when it comes to plane, we got no control over that. You know, I just sent in text that President of the caucus, he's supposed to do at this program, Sekou knows it. So whatever Sekou says here is what Musa says. And I'm pretty sure we're all praying that he should arrive here safely. Even if he can't make it with this program, I know you will have the opportunity to talk to us as a community. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
And Joseph Sako. In the announcement page, but Joe has been a very strong contributor. I have to recognize that too. Thank you so much, Joe.
That's okay. Acknowledgement page in a book. So the next person that is going to take the stage is going to be
let me just say something about this. If you read the book, you're going to read about her mother. Her mother was a little sister of my father's mother. You know, my father's mother was a man or woman from Tengbang. And if you read the book, you're definitely going to see her picture there. Her mother is there. Because, you know, when you're writing, you got to write about your background. I'm a Mandingo, and I can't forget about the Mana side of the family. So my auntie that's standing here, she is the daughter of a Mana woman, just like my father. And this is the mother of Sekou Sano. So Sekou Sano is my direct nephew.
the most talked about.
So my auntie, thank you so much for being here.
I don't want to marry you. I'm my wife.
We want to call on the Honorable Nvasekie N. Konne, who we just heard from, to give us an overview of the book title, The Land of My Father's Burial. Mr. Konne.
All right. What can I say except to say thank to every one of you for gracing this program with your presence. I'm just going to give you a synopsis of the book. Usually when you come to book launching program, most of the time it's all about talking about the book and signing the book, right? We've done that. That should have been the last thing today if the program had remained on course. But due to the unusual circumstances we found ourselves in, so we started the book sale, and now we got to talk about the book. I'm pretty sure, even though it's a short time, but I'm sure some of you guys have been skimming through the books to see some names, you know, familiarize yourself with some stuff in the book. And pretty soon, I'm expecting a floodgate of conversation. Because writers, if you write a book and it does not make people to either cry or to be happy, you haven't done your job. And if it does not make people to get maybe emotional one way or the other, to either criticize for whatever reason, just positive criticism, negative criticism, it's all in the game of writing. If you read New York Times all the time, there's something called book review. Some reviewer can be very critical. Some reviewer can be kind. I'm a book reviewer myself. I've done, I think for all of you that follow my activity, you've seen a lot of time I review other people's books, right? All right. So that's one of the most important things. This book, I hope, is going to generate a lot of conversation, because if you go read a book, you're going to come across some information you haven't come across before. It's going to make you to say something. And the best thing you all can do for me, if you see anything about a book, go to Amazon page and write a comment there. Because the more you comment on Amazon about any book, the more you show to people how interesting the book is. So whatever you have to say about the book, whether positive or negative, I encourage you to go and put it on Amazon. I'm not afraid of criticism, because writer got to be standing for criticism. Because I don't think you're going to write a 257 pages of book and expect that everything in that book, everybody's going to agree with. I understand that some of you may not agree with everything I say, you know, and I want you to do it in an intellectual manner, because books should generate conversation. should talk about issues, should make people to talk about those things that are in the book. So I encourage every one of you, read the book as much as you can and comment on it. If you even disagree with me, if you want to be critical, I appreciate all that. You understand? All right, so what I'm going to do, give you a brief synopsis of this manuscript. You know, when you write a book, you submit your manuscript to so many critics. So before it comes out like this, it means that many other people have reviewed what you've written. They give their criticism, tell you this is not right. I suggest you do it this way. But it's all done in a professional manner. Some critic would say, if you do it this way, I think it's going to be better. But you got a choice. You can either take it or leave it. All right? So when this book, if destiny had been on our side, this book should have been published in 1994. Because I started keeping my diary when we started leaving Liberia. I left from Monrovia on May 23rd, 1990. Went to Guinea, from there to Abidjan, Ivory Coast, where I spent my whole refugee time. None of you saw me in Nvasekie. I was in Abidjan. That's where I spent my time. So if you read through this book, you're going to read about my experience living in Monrovia in May 1990, going to Nvasekie, going to Abidjan, and coming back in the ship to Monrovia, going through the octopus, and now we're in America. So the raw diary I had with me, I sent it to a lot of people. But one person that was very instrumental in making the book what it is today is a Dutch guy. He lives in Germany. Any one of you know Vamba Sharif? No, Vamba Sharif. He's a writer. One of our Liberian writers that are very successful. He writes in Dutch. You know, he was a student from Madrasa in Liberia. He went to Kuwait. When Saddam invaded Kuwait, Vamba was one of those students that were evacuated and were expected to go back to Kuwait. So he went to to Netherlands, and he stayed there. He wrote a book. He writes books in Dutch, which is not his original language. You know, and he's a great guy. So he's the one I sent a manuscript to. And Vamba said, "Lord Nvasekie, every time when I do my writing, this Dutch guy has serious interest in Liberian literature. So I want to send it to him." So when it was sent to this guy, he read through it and said, "Nvasekie, you have written this book here as if to say you never had a happy moment in Liberia. You know, everything's about, you're angry, it's about the war. What was your life like before the Liberian Civil War? Was there no happy childhood for you?" Then I said, okay. After communicating with this guy in Netherlands, I started thinking about stuff that I've never thought about in 20 years. So that helped to enrich the book, one way or the other. So when you read through the book, it's not all about seriousness, right? There's light movement, there's serious movement, there's happy movement. You know, my life has been this way. I have been on the borderline of what you call intellectualism and grown-up boy. You know, because I know all of our young people growing up in any society, everything about you is not always going to be positive. You know, you do your daddy thing, you do your good stuff too. But if God blesses you, you come across now, you know, as a successful person in an area, then you thank God. Musa Ability, he's in this book, he's present in this book here. I'm pretty sure you're going to read about him. Some things about he and myself that's not flattering, but that's like childhood. Because everything we did as a children was not always fun. You know, but a writer cannot lie. If I come stand in front of you today and want to say something verbally that is not written down, I could lie. And I could deny it tomorrow, right? But if I decide to put it on paper, you got to be genuine. You got to be true to your core. Because whatever you put on paper, you have opening for critique. So if you lie in the process of writing, people are going to say, hey, researchers are going to go and dig all the stuff you talk about. So that's why writers cannot lie. And that's one thing, like if you, the first chapter of the book, from Bela to Saklepi. You know, sometimes in Liberia, people say, why is it always combating with people foreigner? Some people say, well, they always go to Bela, they always go to Nyala and Dukwela. But you see, you cannot forget about your heritage. Your heritage got to be your heritage. So we talk, the first chapter is called From Bela to Saklepi, and that is so important in the sense that when my grandfather left from Bela, more than 100 years ago, there was no country called Guinea. Because people make it look like Guinea and Liberia have existed throughout eternity. But these are countries that came into being maybe 160 years ago in the case of Liberia. But in the case of Guinea, it has not been 100 years yet. Because if you look through the history, you realize that after the Berlin Conference of 1885, when Liberia was already established on the coastal area, French people came and started, conquering. So the Liberia of 1847 up to 1885 was just limited to the coastal area. What you call today Bopolu, Lofa County, was not Liberia. So to understand this, Benjamin Anderson's trip to Musadu is very important. And that history is very important for us because you realize that back in 1869 and 1874, when Anderson made his trip to Musadu, that whole Konne region were one of the most important influential areas in our region. Why do you think Benjamin Anderson was encouraged to go to Musadu after his trip was being sponsored by Heinrich Mifflin from New York? So it means Musadu and its environment has to be very important, right? So we went back there. That's in the first chapter. I mean, let's say that's the first chapter of the book. And that first chapter is part 1. It's called Days of Sweet Memory. Days of Sweet Memory, it's like I refer to those days before the war. When, up to 1990, we ever thought in that, what is imagination that Liberian going to be running from place to place? You never thought about that, right? None of us thought that I was going to leave Liberia, go to Ivory Coast, go to Guinea, go to any of these places because of the war. We never thought about war. So life was normal. If you're from Ban, Saklepi, we play a lot of games, and we mention all of those things in the book too. How we used to go to Ban to play football game and stuff like that. All right. And chapter 2, if you look at it, it's called Traditional Quranic Education. You know why that is important to me? Because my father and my mother were basically competing over me. My father had different vision. My mother had different vision. My mother wanted me to be a Kalamo. She always used to say, if I die, I want you to pray over my body. So my mother was not satisfied with the traditional Quranic education in Saklepi. She sent me to Bela to go to school. I spent 3 or 4 years of my formative years in Bela, going to traditional Quranic school. Then one time, I came to Liberia on vacation. My father sat me down. Your mother is going to make you a stranger in your own country. My father, his father was married with man. His mother was a married woman. my father didn't have much interaction with the family in Guinea. He's always in Liberia. So he said, I want you to go to school. School will be more important for you. Someday you could be a spokesman for your people. My father told me that. You know, he said, I don't want you, I know your mother meant well for you, but going to school in Liberia is best for you. But in my way, I respect my mother. She was such a great woman, and my father as well. My father did not live to see today's day. You know, he passed away in 1994. So you're going to see his story there. He was such a great person. He was one of those people back in the day, as conservative as our people were. They say, I'm sending my children to school. No, that was a no-no in our community. And we come from, my background is really a Quranic study. You know, all my phobia come from that background. And my father sending us to English school, that was like he's going against the tradition. So my mother and my father clashed over me. By the end of the day, I think I satisfied my mother's condition one way or the other and satisfied my father's condition. So if you read traditional Quranic education, that's where the title comes from. And under the bright moonlight, I think every one of you can imagine what that story will be like. At one point, you play under the moonlight. Can anybody deny that here? That you didn't play under the moonlight? So I'm very sure you go through the story, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Then we'll talk about Pedro. One of the most important chapters in part 1 is the day Kuomba died, to relate to the situation of Kuomba in 1985. Young men like you probably were not born at that time. Before the episode, but you're very young.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure if you read this book here. All right, now, Revelation time. It's the time of the war. You know, one way or the other, if you live in the Makani, you hear things around. One fine day, I'm pretty sure many people can relate to one fine day here, right? So you're going to read, I mean, if you're a little child, you won't understand that. But if you read this book, you'll understand what I mean. All right. Got a whole lot of stuff here. One fine day, on the run for my life. The road is bumpy. Born here, die here. Who don't know about born here, die here? And I'm pretty sure if you went to Guinea, you experienced that too, right? Yeah. The reason we have to write to God, write all these things, so that it can serve as a lesson. Because most of the reason we're in trouble today is our great-grandparents and our grandparents did not write stuff down. And how do you expect to guide your little children if stuff are not written? So it is my hope. I shouldn't be if I'm the only writers from my community, that means I haven't succeeded.
Thank you.
If I'm the only writer in my community, I have not succeeded. Because I believe what we've written should inspire, if not you, it should inspire your children and your grandchildren to write. Because writers got to guide the future. You know, I started writing before the war. But for me to have the opportunity of publishing my article in a newspaper, that happens 1992 in the Our newspaper. Then from Our newspaper, the Monrovia Daily News, to the Inquirer, to New Democrat, and all the newspapers in Liberia at the time. So it's been 20 years since I started writing. And someone's going to say, if you spend 20 years doing certain things, how much money you get out of it? But writing, it's not all about money. It's about saving humanity. It's about discovering your mission and being committed to that mission. If writing was about money, I shouldn't be writing, right? Because not all of you here don't know me to be a rich man. I'm not a rich man. But one thing you know me for is my dedication and commitment to what I believe in. And that's what writing does for people. Because I'm interested that if you're not live for 50, 60 years from now, if God gave for another 50 years, that would be a plus. But it's not guaranteed. So if stuff are not written, how do you expect your children to interpret your experience in the world? So it means you may leave a dark page for your children that they may not be able to fill. So the little thing we have done here, the goal is that it will inspire each and every one of you. Like I see my brother Americator here. He's a great writer. I see my good friend Mohammed Sharif. He's a great writer too. His stuff to someone. Like I always told Mr. Kenneth. Everybody knows Mr. Kenneth to be a powerful man in our community. So Mr. Kenneth always giving it to us. You know, all the time when you sit with us, Kuma, it's like you in school. He's a power hall of knowledge, of information. So sitting with us, Kuma, just for 1 hour is like you go to school for a whole 1 year. But unfortunately, Mr. Kuma cannot write. I wish all of the vast information he has to be transformed into writing. It could enrich our understanding of our own country, Liberia. Strongest inspirer. You know, every time I talk to him, he inspires me, he supports me. You know, but it's good for us to do this thing. It may be little, but my goal is you should be inspired too. Even if you cannot write, you don't have the energy, because everybody don't have the energy to write. Because it takes time. Some people may not write because they don't want people to criticize them. Because you know why it is to write stuff and you have to submit it to someone, and someone has to come and, you know, critique your whole writing? Because to that fear and challenge, some people don't write. You know, but every writer, there's an editor. Someone got to be there to edit the stuff for you. You know, and in America here, you got to pay people to edit your work. Because you can't write this book here and expect that everything in the book, based on your own experience, your own knowledge, it should just go in print. You got to submit it to people. But at the end of the day, you got to pay them money to go through your stuff. Because it's time consuming, right? If you get 257 pages to someone, this book is like 85,000 words. You know, in the actual professional world, you know how much they charge you for editing? They're going to charge you 10 cents per word. That's how much they charge you in the real professional world. But some people, maybe because they love you, they want your success. Somebody wants to say, on the ballpark, just give me $1,000. I'll do, you know, stuff. And you got to go through at least 3 or 4 of that. That's how much you invest in your stuff. Because, like, if you don't invest in yourself, we're going to invest in you. You got to take the first step. You got to do the first investment. So when stuff come out like this now, people come to patronize you. Hopefully they agree with what you write. It makes you feel happy. Liberia is there. You know, we served time in the military. All right? They served in the U.S. military. And like I said, my brother Pew here, USS Detroit. The nickname for the ship is called Daddy D. And it's so interesting. Pew and myself, first time coming to Philadelphia was in 1997. At the time where you have the casino in Chester, there used to be a shipyard there. So the ship was in dry dock for 3 months. Me and Pew, you know, all the crew members of the ship were put in Devere Hotel. Devere Hotel, some of our people used to be here. Ramada down the line, that's where we used to be. Our government expense in Ramada, some people were here, some were in different places. So that's how he and I met. So if you read through page 188, you're going to see some encounter of he and myself in Israel. Myself and one of our friends from Ghana called Swansea, and one other African American guy. We went to Israel. We were busy when the ship docked in a place. So Israel was the liberty pool for us. I mean, we didn't have to do any work. In the morning, just get up and go, you know, to McDonald's, go anywhere. So one day, Pio, myself, and our friends were walking in Haifa, right? Yeah, that was Haifa. So we were going, a taxi driver stopped us, and he said something to us. I'm not going to say that here because it was a curse word. You know, it's like he was trying to take us. He knew that we were American servicemen, and say, I'm going to take you, you know, to prostitution place. So we said no, because at the time, you have the terrorism going on. And we didn't want to get, you know, on noon taxi to go be blown or somewhere. We just told him, man, thank you. So we went to the McDonald's in Haifa and sat down there. There was a conversation between a little Jewish boy and myself. Everything is in the book. You know? So basically, that's what you're going to read when you go through the book. It means you're going to go through our life from Liberia before the war, how peaceful it was. Between us, Madingo, Mano, and Gio, you know, I experienced both Mano and Gio situation. I grew up in Saklebi and Petro. Petro is a predominant, it's a Gio town. Saklebi, for to some extent, I would say it was probably a mix, you know, because you have very large population of Madingo people in Saklebi, just like any major towns in Nimba County, Ganta, Sanikwele, Kamfo, Ban. You have people there. But we have cordial relationship. So that's where, you know, the days of happy memory is about. You know, so that's basically the brief synopsis about this work. And I've done my job. Your job now is to read a book. I know some of you don't read, but you can encourage your child to read. And more especially for those of us that are having children in America now, there's no guarantee that our children born in America are going to go back home. All right? Some of them may go home, but you know why some of them may go home? Maybe they will read this book. They say, wow, this is where daddy comes from. I want to go see it, right? So that means it's important that all of you guys have this book. For some of you that can read, it's good. For some of you that can't read, let the children read a book to you. Have conversation on the book. Have conversation on some of the issues discussed in the book. You know, like I heard Joseph Sako saying today, he brought all his and gave me book report.
Wow, that's good.
All of us that have been to school, you know what book report is, right? Book report is basically the same as a book review, but book report is done at the student level, book review is done at the professional level. So he's telling his children that buying their book is not enough, but I want you to go read it. So even for me as a writer, well, you pay the money, it's fine. Book, understand what the book is about. You got some questions, throw the question to me. Got some criticism, put it out there. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of criticism, whether it's positive or negative. So I challenge each and every one of you, read this book carefully. If you see anywhere that I should be condemned, I should be criticized, don't hesitate. Don't say, oh, Nvasekie is my brother, if I criticize him, he's going to feel bad. No, I'm not going to feel bad. Because if I didn't want to be criticized, I shouldn't have to write something. Right? If you don't want to be criticized, don't say anything, right? Because you close your mouth, you don't say nothing, nobody's going to criticize you. But if you decide to put your opinion out there, your view out there, obviously it will clash with the view of other people. And those that disagree with you, we have to come out with counter challenge. So I challenge each and every one of you, read this book with great understanding and tell me what you think. And Honorable Vovin Jabate, I acknowledge them taking the book too. Boyfriend, I think someone already talked about him, but he's a great man in our midst. You know, all of us go through Akana every day for some type of help. You know, the most important thing about us as people is to discover your mission. The teacher don't get rich, right? But they teach. Nobody going into the teaching profession to be rich. But why do you think people go into it? Because they want to contribute to the advancement of humanity. Because all of us are sitting here that can read. Whether you become president, you become minister, you wouldn't have become that if some teachers are not dedicated their time to teach you. That's why teachers have to be respected, even though they are not rich people. Because some of us think that life is all about money. But society got a place for everyone. Rich people got a role to play. Because some of the scientific advancement we see in the world today, it took one person to dream the idea, but he didn't have money, but he has to talk to other people to finance his dream. You know? So you got, money can play a role, but everybody don't have to be rich in society. Because if everybody being rich, we're going to be the teacher. We're going to be the policeman. We're going to be the soldier. Because you don't get in the military to be rich. You know? You don't join the police to be rich. There's a lot of things you do, even though you got little money as a compensation, but it's not to make you rich. But if everybody refuses to do those things that will not make them rich in society, society don't go anywhere. Oh, I'm not going to be a writer because writers can get money. So how do you expect society to advance? We all have left from Africa and come to America now, you know, enjoying the great sacrifices of other people in this country. They put in place, there are a lot of people. You read their history, you see how much sacrifices people made to make America great. One of my great inspirers, Malcolm X. Nobody knows Malcolm X to be a rich man. Malcolm X sacrificed his life. When Malcolm X died, his community had to put resources together to bury him. In some communities such as ours, he was like, I mean, a foolish man, man. He didn't even have money, he didn't even have a house. So all the riches for Malcolm X came up when he died. His books makes millions of dollars. But he did not live to see that. But he did not live his life with $1 million. So what I want to say here today is to encourage our brothers and sisters in Liberia. You know, particularly our Madingo brothers and sisters. A lot of them. When you tell Madingo man go teach, there's no money in there. Tell Madingo man go be a court clerk, no money there. But these are the things that you have to do for your country to get the recognition and respect that you deserve. You're not going to be respected if all you want to do is to make quick money. You know, and for us now, we should be advancing. If your father, my mother was a shop owner, right? If I have to go in business now, I want to be a bank manager. That means I've made advancement from my mother or from my father to another level. But if my mother was a shop operator and I'm a shop operator, what progress have I made? And me, I'm still at the same level, right? And you can't be at the same level in life all the time. You got to keep progressing. That's why Coach told us. Coach, I want us to upgrade this thing here to another level. You know, he said if there's money issue, I'll take care of it. So Coach paid $250 for us to be here. And the surprising thing about it, one of those friends that I'm close to, you know, but to see him discussing behind closed doors to say, Nvasekie, this is great. I will pay for the hotel for us to take the program there. That is something that really, really surprised me because he and I don't even talk. So that is a huge support, right? Time is fast spent. We talk enough. And there are a lot of great people here that I got to say something. I'll just leave it at that point as well. Thank you so much.
When the orator take the stage, it gets too small. Kids are running, in a hallway. This is a hotel, so please try to, take care of that. But before we go further, I wanted to recognize our father, our uncle, the brother of Brother Nvasekie Konne, who just came in, Brother Bengali Konne. Yeah, having said that, there was one thing that was the issue of the mother telling him to, she wants him to be Karamon. So the Konne people be behind the Sheriff Poti ever since. Y'all listen to this. That was very much interesting. So, but thank God that he did not use that route. So y'all stay safe, Sheriff. Don't worry. No threat. Just take out your position. All right. So, we also want to inform people that we're going to be, Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to be running through the program,
Forgive me, I'm not good at memorizing, so. Sweet Liberia, a melody of notes paraded through my ear, a constructive piece of land designed for me and you. Sweet Liberia, oh how I love to hear that good news. A place I once called home, where raindrops beat my skin to the bone, now connected like a deserted child, where we're all in search of comfort while we run wild. Like the villages we once lived peacefully, where raising kids together was our motto and sanity, we must arise in anger for the better of our country. A corrupted government running for its own selfish gain, leaving young women to sell their souls for money, all the while hiding behind their pain. When young men roam the streets to hustle hard, stealing and conniving for their young ones' meals, but don't get very far. Where are the jobs or the institutions to provide care and stability for its citizens? I guess we've all lost our innocence. How selfish of me to obtain knowledge in my kinsman land, but remain silent and reserved when rebuilding my mother's land. I didn't bring you to this country for nothing, my father would say. As I grew older, I understood why he paved the way. For me to gain the knowledge in the land of freedom and opportunity, so that one day, back in my country, I can help with the development of its economy. Why let the white men, no, but I call it like I see, invade my space where I should be productive in making decisions to set us free? Free from pride, free from envy, free from jealousy, free from ignorance, free from illiteracy, free from cloudy days? What if I can show them life in a million other ways? Take my hand, and together let's make a difference by getting through the maze. If not for me or you, then for the generation to come anew. Be my brother, and I your sister. Help me help you, or help us lift us. Unity alone won't make all the difference, but changing our mindsets, realizing what's going on in the present. Sweet Liberia, a melody of notes once paraded in my ear, a constructed piece of land designed for me and you. Sweet Liberia, oh how I long to hear that good news.
The only thing I got to tell you, you have added more sweetness to Liberia.
To the melody?
Yes. I've never ever heard a poem like that. I don't know, you are a genius, and I very much appreciate that.
Thank you.
How smart are you?
I didn't know Miss One Line a week ago. I went to Akana to
Everything going to Vofi Jabba.
Okay, so wow, you and I got some connection. So, and I said, well, you want to take part in the program? She said, yes.
That was awesomely beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate that very highly. All right, the next launching of the book, and that's going to be done by the man I am going to introduce. They man a man.
I wish I was, man.
They man a real man.
Still a boy.
Mr. Sekou Konne is the president of the Mandingo Caucus of the Republic of Liberia. And he also served in a capacity of both Director of Government and International Affairs. Mr. Konne hails from the Kwaduboni region of Lofa County. One of the most beautiful woman on earth.
Right. Yeah.
In a secret, yeah?
I will.
All right. So, without much ado, I'm going to now give the stage to Mr. Konne to do the official launching. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, MC. Let me say a special thanks to the author for whom we have all gathered here today, Teofo Musa, the president of Limani, and all other presidents here present to grace this occasion. Our father-in-law, Mr. Keita, for Musa, fellow Liberians, thank you very much for this opportunity. I am asked to step in the giant shoes that seem a little difficult to fit in, but the Mandingo people say, and I quote, if you cannot adequately lift your ancestry, you are required to drag it. You cannot abandon it. Honorable Musa Hassan Ability, the former president of the National Mandingo Caucus of Liberia, is our official chief launcher of this occasion. Like the author rightly stated, he's caught up in New York, and at about now, we are very convinced that he's left there, but we're not sure that he will be here on time for this program. I am therefore attempting to fill in for Mr. Ability. Mrs. Konne, thank you for coming with me. Said that no matter how much we craft them on piece of paper or in a book form, the benefit is marginal. We could not agree more. We try to find a way whereby we could be of help not only to NNK, but to all of us in our community. The trend the global development is taking, anyone who thinks that he or she can succeed on a sole proprietorship basis, we want you to think again, because the world has become a global village, and therefore communities must merge, and so families must hold together to support each other. That is why people have driven from as far as New York, Atlanta, and other places to be here to support Nvasekie. We want to say thank you. Let us hold together. Our community is one that stands at a very critical junction. In Liberia, we've preached this to our people, and we are blessed to be asked to serve as your messenger. You may refer to me as the president of the National Mandingo Caucus of Liberia, but I regard myself as the chief messenger, because our administration intends to go from door to door, from community to community, to inspire that one-time Mandingo spirit. Today, I am convinced that at least 80–95% of the supporters in this hall happen to hail from that tribal group. Let us continue to do that. Then we'll step beyond our tribal line and also partner with our other brothers and sisters. For no matter how successful we are as a tribe, until we can be successful as a nation, our success is still marginal. On behalf of Mr. Musa Hassan Ability, the National Mandingo Caucus of Liberia, and the rest of our brothers around the world who would have loved to be here but could not be here for some other reasons, we want to officially launch this book. And until we can raise the amount that we have envisioned, our serving as the chief launcher would not be of material consequence. No matter how much we say here, we want to see the economy, say, the bottom line, increase. Let us try, ladies and gentlemen, to dig deep down in our pockets. There are different activities for which we pay money, we spend money, if we are going to take loan, borrow money against our tax returns, let us do it today. Let us do it today. Do not leave from the creek and go stand on the shoreline and say, I am thirsty. Don't leave from here and say, I wish I had gotten 10 copies. You don't need 10 copies as an individual. You don't need more than 1 copy as an individual. But because you cannot sleep in more than 1 room in your house, yet you still build a mansion, that is why you should buy more than 1 copy. Sleep in one. In fact, you don't sleep everywhere in a room. You sleep on a small piece of stuff called bed. But you build everything. So let us buy more than 1 copy today. Give it to somebody. I am going to... We keep that for last. Because there are people right now in Liberia who are as anxious as I am to read this book. When I sat there, I grabbed my wife's copy. I was reading through it. The first thing that I do, look at the first few pages and go to the last page, if not in the middle. And then I saw that the author came a little strong on African government, especially Kenya. When Obama said that his story is unlike in any other country. And the author underscored that and said, in fact, African governments that are celebrating Obama's success here had to be hypocritical. And I was like, what's he going to quarter with us? But it's important. What he said is that if a black man could excel in the white dominant society, being celebrated by the world, but African leaders are there, unable to even countenance somebody else's growth. That is what you've done here. You've come to prove that different. You've come to inform the world that Nvasekie's success is your success, it's my success, it's all of our success. Thank you for coming. Honorable Musa Hassan Ability would have loved to be here. He's not here. But on our collective behalf, one of our senior advisors of the National, on his behalf and all of the elders of the caucus, the president of LFA, a philanthropic, humanitarian, and investor in Liberia. I would have loved for him to say this. But he has assured the committee working with the author that we will buy the initial amount of 1,000 books. 1,000 copies of the book. You see, how many can Musa read? How many can Sekou read? As chief launcher, he will buy the first 1,000. But if we multiply the monetarily, that's going to be like $17,000. That, in our judgment,
$17,950.
That is, in my judgment, a drop in the bucket regarding the strength of our community. When I took over after my induction, doing my reception, my acceptance remark, I said, as of today, given a challenge honorable ability has passed on to us, in the first 60 days, I will raise $1 million Liberian for the community to kick off some projects, including a scholarship program. People came to my office and said, Sekou, as a new leader, you're not supposed to talk like that because Madingo people can't pay money. And I said to that person, say Madingo people never used to pay money. This one, you will pay. They want you to pay because you know Sekou didn't have that money. I said we will. And I presented it in a forum where everybody clapped. I said, bingo, you've endorsed it. And so we can show that they paid it. Honorable doing the fundraising to make sure that my pledge amount was fulfilled. In there is when everybody was driving. Mr. President came, and I can tell you now that money was raised 99% by Madingo people. The non-Madingo contribution was less than $1,000. But what our people want is that respect given to them. To say, this is what we are here for today, ladies and gentlemen. In addition to the first 1,000 copy that we are going to pay for, I'm asking you as a community to please challenge that. There are certain occasions where they say when the president gives the amount, nobody goes above that. In this case, it's not politics. This is one step beyond politics. Please, audience, let us beat the 1,000 copy that has been initially bought by us, or that will be bought by us. Let this audience be that amount, but whatever margin you can. Let me defer to the chief of protocol, who happens to be the MC. Maybe our co-launchers who are here will add a few words of motivation that will make you and myself to go beyond probably what I've said. Thank you for the opportunity. God bless you.
Hi, Mr. Konne, we want to say thank you so much for the beautiful remarks. I think they were in the right direction, and they were well said. So everybody in here is very pleased with your wording. So we are happy that Musa, in fact, was like, maybe he would have limited to 500. Saying you step out to 1,000. Maybe the co-launcher is going to carry the 2,000. Who knows?
Thank you.
So now, thank you so much, and we appreciate that very highly. We are now on the next item. I understand a few guys just walking. You want to recognize it. Brother Abu Belete, you are recognized. Honorable Maurice Keita, we also recognize you. Musa Fofana, former Secretary General of Musa Bo, we recognize you. Farouk Konne. Well, anyway, the Konne, you got a program. I didn't want to call your name, sir. I don't know. So we are now on the next item, which is remarks. So we're going to be starting the remark with the one of the patrons, our dear brother, Mr.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And sir, before you can go, that I'm going to set because of time, and we're going to have to leave for our various, other tasks after here. After Mr. Keita remarks, Mr. Keita to please hold a long while. One of the, I don't know, how you call him? One of the top dog members who drove from all the way to New York is about to leave. So we're giving time to say at least a few words to his friend and brother. So Honorable P, you got the stage. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for recognizing me. I just want to appreciate Mr. Nvasekie Konne.
Thank you.
He's been a great friend to me. Since I met Mr. Konne back in 1996, 97, we've been communicating. He's been very great to me, and we've been like brothers. So I appreciate you welcoming me to your program today. It was a great program. I mean, I'm very surprised. I'm happy, to see Konne writing such a book. I remember on the ship in the Navy, he's walking around with paper. He's writing stuff down, and I'm walking around with tools working, and this is what he did. It's very encouraging, and I just want to say to everyone in this room, like he already said, get the book. It's an inspiration to our children. The opportunities in this land is here for us, and we should take advantage of it. So let's get this book. This book should be placed in schools in this country. It should be placed in schools back home in our country, and let our children know that this is the potential that we have, and this is the opportunity that we have in this country, and this is what we can be. This is what we can do. So let us support Nvasekie. Sorry I have to run out of here. All right, and I can't be here to the end, but I just want to congratulate you
about how you feel, how you think we are going forward. So thank you so much. Honorable Keita.